Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending upon where you are on the globe. Happy Monday to you, and also to you who may be in the bushes. Welcome to this brief overview, which is my official Lupus DC Walk fundraiser. And if you've taken a moment, you should be able to see in the description a link where you can, if you would like, to support. The very few ways that you can support, which are absolutely free, entails joining my team, registering as a virtual walker, and a simple share of this post. Let me see who these comments are really quickly, and I will continue. Because as I said, this was just brief, and I will let you continue on with your day. Hold on for one quick moment. Welcome, Iceberg Thoughts, and welcome, Duran B. TV. Thank you both for supporting in every capacity. You both are truly appreciated. And I believe the link is there. If anyone would like to take a brief moment, because again, I do realize people have their other broadcasts coming up and they have their own lives to attend to. So, hey there, MSO, thank you as well. Shirley Kirkland, thank you as well. Now, let me get through this really quickly. Oops, let me make sure I get everyone. Awesome. Now, quick house cleaning, which there really shouldn't be any problems. I would hope not on something like this, but we never know. Mods or anyone, if you see two particular people, and well, actually three now, two males and one female, they've already been advised that they are harassing me. So if that happens one more time, you already know I have absolutely no qualms of going right down the street to file a report. So if you do happen to listen, those individuals, please don't make that mistake. This is a positive platform and this message is very important. And I do not nor will not tolerate anything negative today. That being said, the Lupus Foundation of America is a charitable organization with, and I'll say that again, with a 501c3 tax exempt status. And you can see their federal ID number. Those of you that have donated directly from the link should receive something back directly from the Lupus Foundation of America, not from me, only a thank you. What I receive is a notification that a donation has been made on my behalf. So that post you may have seen, unfortunately, floating around, that I am using this to scam people out of money, that too is not true. We all know that, but some people will take things with a baton and run with it. Many people in many states form their own teams. There are several teams in the DC area. Mine happens to be one, which is Team Lease. You can also do your research on that if you feel as though that's something you want to do. And actually, I encourage that anytime someone is having a fundraiser or if a disaster happens, because unfortunately, and we've seen this many, many times, people will unfortunately make up pages, and it may be in the title for those who may truly need help, but it's there for their own personal gain. So again, there are many people who are truly raising money for events, for things that are near and dear to them. There are many of them that are absolutely legitimate, but because you have sometimes unsavory and hateful people that their existence is just to throw a monkey wrench into something, they will throw dirt on your name just because. And when you're representing an organization or a task that you want to see go through, such as a shoe drive, a back to school drive, um, helping the less fortunate in your area. A lot of people are doing this out of the kindness of their hearts, and they're absolutely legitimate. But all it takes is sometimes one or two people to say something negative, and that could hurt your entire goal. So, of course, be prudent and investigate. And when I say investigate, just do a quick fact check. Most times you will see that the goal is legitimate. Let's see who this is really quickly. Absolutely, Duran B. So, moving ahead. This is just a team shot of one of the teams that assembled. And there is a young man that I met through one of those that I follow and one that follows me, who I'll be working with to design t-shirts for this year's walk, which is actually October the 1st, 2022 at the National Mall. And anyone who's near the DC area, the National Mall is a huge place. However, it is near the Washington Monument. Check in, and they do that because of security reasons, will be at 8:30 a.m. and there will be a ceremony at 9:30 a.m. Hold on, let me check this comment really quickly for you. Carl Belton, good old Carl Belton. Happy Monday and welcome, and thank you for joining. Again, this is just an example of one of the teams, and this is from actually the last in-person walk that has been delayed because of the 2020 pandemic. This year, however, we are on, unless something changes, again for Saturday, October the 1st, 2022. The check-in will be 8:30 a.m. There will be a short ceremony at 9:30 a.m. The walk itself will be at 10 o'clock a.m. and the route will be approximately 2 miles. So again, the logistics thus far, and if there are any changes, I will make sure I will update everyone that the check-in Saturday, October the 1st, which is October the 1st, check-in 8:30. So if you don't really need a lot of items to get through security, and if you are able to leave them in your vehicle, and also there should be a metro route for those who choose to use the metro to get there, and the closest one will be the one next to the Department of Agriculture. Actually, as soon as you get off that metro, you can walk directly to the Washington Monument. But the check-in is at 8:30 a.m. The ceremony begins at 9:30 a.m., where you'll have special guest speakers and to recognize those that have been advocates for years, and also a moment of silence for those that we have lost. The actual walk begins at 10 o'clock a.m. and the length of the route, someone had asked before, I said it was 3.5 miles. They've actually shaved it down. So it will be actually 2 miles. Some people walk, some people jog, some people do a walk run. There are many that may bring their pets or their small children. They also have booths set up for face painting. And last time we tried to do a moon bounce. I'm not sure if they'll do that this year. They're still in planning stages. But if that's available, I will let you know as well. Let me check these two. Hey there, Tanya and Western Star. Greetings. So let me go to the next slide. Many people still may not know exactly what lupus is. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that occurs when your body's immune system attacks its own tissues and organs. Therefore, that's where autoimmune comes from. It's one. Auto means one. And as a result, inflammation caused by lupus can affect many different body systems, including your joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells, brain, heart, and your lungs. So I'll leave that up for a moment. Okay. Douglas Cook, thank you and welcome. Next. And hopefully that's large enough for many to see, but it's just a brief overview of the prognosis and life expectancy. Now, there was a time before technology where the life expectancy after diagnoses was 3 to 5 years. That is such change. Now, depending upon the severity, and that means if it begins to affect your internal organs, such as the brain, heart, kidneys, lungs, that could change. And each person is different. So I'll leave that up for a moment as I check this message. Thank you, Jerron B. And also in my description, and it's pinned, you can send your donations if you decide to donate directly to that link. Now, it will go towards my team. However, the funds actually go to the Lupus Foundation of America. So I won't see it, but you will receive something back. Next. When you click that link, this is what you'll see. And it will say either donate or join my team. So again, if you join the team, that option is free, as well as sharing this post is absolutely free. Joining as a virtual walker is absolutely free. If you want to donate even $1, you are welcome to do that. So the link is there for anyone that may know of anyone with lupus, anyone that has been a caretaker for anyone with lupus, or how it's affected you directly or indirectly. Again, if you feel as though you would like to share, the link is there for you, and you can take no more than 90 seconds if you would like. Let me check these comments really quickly. Yes, Sister T. Sister T is in the house, and the link is there. Let me know if you can see it. I believe she can see it. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Sister T, hold on for one moment. Welcome. Welcome.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I see like a half of myself or something.
Hold on for one moment. Zeno, let me get my big head off of the screen. There we go.
Hey,
And
Carcino.
welcome.
What's
Yeah,
up, Doe?
okay, there it is. Now I can see everybody.
Carcino is in the house and Sister T is in the house. I'm going to mute my mic and you all, the podium is yours. And thank you so much for taking a moment out to join. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad to be here, Doe. How you doing, Sino?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. Though I don't have much time, but I always have time for you. So let's get into this. My brother lost his wife with lupus in February. Um, I really didn't know that she was in any pain because they hid it from us. So I didn't even know she was sickly, to be honest, because I mean, she was just like me and you, just, regular person in front of me. But come to find out near her death, that's when they really told me that, she was sickly with lupus. And I did not know because she looked so good and she got around as far as I knew, as health wise, I thought she was okay. Come to find out she suffered from lupus and had lost family members and even her child, which I didn't know anything about it. But I hate that I really didn't get as close to her as I did. And it was others, we never know what people are going through. And even though I felt that she might have had a problem with me, I really didn't have a problem with her. But I think it had a lot to do with personal issues. Um, you know how sisters are with some girlfriends and wives with their brother. But I end up getting close to her with her at the end, which I'm glad that we kind of mended, or should I say healed our relationship. But I hate that I didn't spend more time with her because I didn't know her situation. But she kept it hid. I'm assuming a lot of them do this, though. I'm not sure, but I find out usually when people is sick like that too late. So in my opinion, this is my opinion only. If you all know anybody with this sickness and illness, family members, friends, or whatever the case may be, please, if you can, regardless of anything, just talk to them and be sympathetic with their illness. Don't let them feel that you basically using their sickness as I should say, a crutch, or make them feel that they how should I say this without offending anybody, that they basically putting a sickness on everybody or using it as a crutch. Because this woman, I did not know she was sick, doe eyes, and I really wished I did know so that I probably could have helped a lot more. Because literally, my brother was toting and carrying her to bed at night, and I knew none of this. CBD oil is what helped her through a lot of her pain, and I didn't know that either. Um, to make my story a long one short, long one short, is that anyone that does have that type of sickness, and any sickness, whether it's lupus or sickle cell, because I'm dealing with that with someone also, it really, really is nothing to play with. I know people think that it's not that serious, but it is in a lot of cases, if not most cases, which I don't like to say, a death sentence. You talked on me helping you breathe one day, Doaz, and I really, really didn't know until you mentioned it how important that was to you. Um, and I think sometimes that even a conversation with this lady that wasn't as close with would have helped too, because I saw and felt her trying to get close to me, but I didn't have the same connection there until she was sickly. So we all need to be seriously more aware and pay more attention to people, even when they don't want us to know they're sick. You kind of know something don't be right, and just ask if they're okay. Can you help them with anything, or can you be of any help? My brother is one of those strong-headed persons, and he wouldn't tell us if he even needed help. But women are different. So if you see this in any family or friends, y'all, if you can reach out, even a conversation, believe it or not, can be helpful to people. It could be you. It could be me. Um, I don't know what you think, Sino, because I was too close to the situation to the point that I didn't even see how sickly this lady was. She didn't show the emotions, she didn't show her pain or nothing around us. So we really didn't know.
My girlfriend passed away in 2000, um, and she was born with sickle cell anemia, and it was very like
Wow.
they didn't give her a chance to live when she was born. So all her life she's been told that she was going to die.
Exactly.
So she making it as long as she did, um, it was remarkable to see her survive as long as she did. But when I dated her, I knew she had sickle cells, but she really was okay, but she would get sick a lot. And like it would be a point where she had to go to the hospital. I had to carry the IV, the thing around. So I was forced
Wow.
to go through this at a time where I had just lost my best friend to a murder. That was in '99, and then in 2000, you know, um, she began to get sick a lot,
How
and
old was she? How old was she? And I'm just asking, Cena.
she passed at 2021. I think she
See,
was
oh
20.
my goodness, you were
So
young dealing with this too, Cena.
yeah. I was young dealing with it. So I was going through that because she knew my best friend too, but she ended up getting sick and dying, and she ended up developing leukemia.
Yep.
First, they had to do like a spinal thing where they had to break a piece of her bone.
Yep. Wow.
And it was so bad. But she was never asked for help. She wanted to do everything
Yes.
herself.
Yes.
And it was like, and it was that's where me and her would butt heads because I'm the broken wing guy. I'm there to help and the whole nine. I'm like, no, just tell me what I need to do. I do this. And she want to eat herself. She want to do all this. And I'm like, look, you're not strong enough to just do all this. I gotta help. No, I got it. And she'll just doze off, wake up and try to eat something else and go back to sleep. I'm like, let me just feed you and so that way you're not strong enough right now. That we would butt heads literally over these situations. It was like almost like arguing. And when she passed, I wasn't there.
Wow.
And that was the thing, because we had it out. She had gotten a lot better and we had ended up having it out. Like forgot we had a disagreement when we just didn't speak for like 2 days, and when I called there, her brother told me they had rushed her to the hospital, and I knew from his nervousness that this was more serious than anything before. The hospital had given her the wrong medicine. It wasn't the wrong medicine; it's just that they didn't take in consideration her having sickle cell, and they didn't figure that when they gave her the medicine. They just say, "Oh, this the medicine. She should be able to. She's not allergic to anything." But they omitted the fact, or just it just was an lapse of judgment, because different doctors that take care of you, who know you, is a lot different than just some random doctors in the ER who really just seeing you for the first time. And they
Mm-hmm.
gave her some medicine that they really shouldn't have given her, not knowing her situation with sickle cell anemia. And it had a reaction that her body couldn't recover from. It
Yeah.
caused everything, her organs swelled up, and it was
Wow.
so bad she couldn't even open her eyes. Her face is swollen up so much, and everything, her whole body. It was just like unreal. So they airlifted her back to the hospital. She came home, and that was it. I never got to really see her
You
again.
didn't get
So
a chance to say goodbye either, Casino?
no, not really. I went to the funeral and everything, and with the mother and everything. Went to the house when he was straightening everything up. And then after that, my auntie, she had she had lupus, and that's the one. A lot of people are familiar with that, but my auntie I never knew anything about lupus ever. Never heard
Me
of it, never knew anything about it, but my auntie was battling this for years, and this is my uncle's wife, and I didn't know anything about it. I was young as a kid and stuff when a lot of this stuff was developing with her. And she was always in tune with her doctor and everything else. So she was contacting her doctor about it, like she wasn't feeling well and she wanted to go back to and the doctor's like, oh no, 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 just take your medicine I gave you, you'll be fine. And this is her doctor, so she was okay taking the medicine, and she was just saying, I really don't feel right. She's like, I'm feeling like these pains in my legs every time I walk, and
Okay.
she goes to the doctor and he finally takes another look and he goes, oh, wait a minute. He comes in and she goes to the ER actually, and that's when he went there to see her. And he cried because he felt he failed her, but I kept saying, oh, just take your medicine. I'll set you up an appointment next week. You can come on in. And it was a point where she had to go in because she wasn't getting any circulation in her. And she wasn't feeling her legs. It went when she woke up, she had like no feeling in her legs from below. So they ended up saying that we're going to try to save your legs and we might have to amputate one of them. And, that's a life changing situation like that. So that she has 2 kids. So she's thinking about her kids more than anything, her children, which is my older cousin. He's like in high school. He's in like I'll say about sophomore, senior year of high school around that time. And her littlest daughter, she's in like maybe 6th grade. So she's thinking about my 2 cousins at the time. And, she's just like, I'm thinking about my babies, like right now. This has really got her nerves is going because she's thinking about her children.
Yeah.
And just like that, she's well, she's doing, fine. And then she's just saying, I have pain in my legs. And she knows because she's been dealing with it her entire life. She knows her body.
Yep.
And her doctor is telling her, no, you're just fine. Just take the medicine. You'll be okay. And he made an appointment for 2 weeks later. And next thing you know, she's in the ER. And she's being told she's going to lose her leg. So the doctor feels so guilty because he gave her that poor advice.
Has she been going to the hospital pretty much often prior to that? And I'm only asking Sino because that was what's going on with my brother's wife.
Yeah, she's not the type that would go, but she didn't really have to go that often because she normally was on top of everything. But it could come out of nowhere.
Yep.
And when she was taking her, normally she'll take her medicines and, do all the different things that she needed to do to keep herself, healthy. Then all of a sudden, any little thing could happen and it'll cause a reaction with lupus. And I knew nothing about it at this time, except for when she was sick. And that's when people was like, oh, she has lupus. And my mom knew. And, all my aunties, they know everything about it. I'm just like, what's going on? I'm young, so I don't understand like too much of anything about the disease, or it was the first time I ever heard anything about it. So they had the conversation to try to save her. First, it was her foot. She was going to lose her foot. Then they ended up having to take both her legs, and they took it from the knee down. So from the knee down, she didn't have both her legs anymore.
And this lupus we talking about, Sino?
Yes, she had lupus.
Okay, because the only reason I asked that sound like the same thing with sickle cell almost. But lupus, she didn't get to the point that they had to, decapitate anything. But when she started going to the hospital like too much, I kind of felt something that was not really, it wasn't really good. The medication they were giving her was not working. And to be honest, they stated that she was really outliving the normal, life of the lupus. I don't know how should I say, if someone has been diagnosed lupus, they don't really live a long life, I'm told. Matter of fact, I'm, I'm dealing with another church member that has lupus also, and they didn't even, which I didn't know, they've been married for years, but the reason why they didn't have children is because they were afraid that their child may get lupus and they may lose their child because they lost the first child at 25. So they didn't want to have any more children after that. And now his body is like deteriorating, to be honest, because his weight is thinning, and you know what I'm saying, though. He's losing a lot of weight. He's not good, but I'm just still trying to be positive because the man is 60 some years old, so, and they're saying that he's supposed to die a long time ago. You follow what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that's a lot of people that, like my auntie, she had like really no complications after giving birth to my two cousins. She really was like on top of her. They were born healthy.
Oh, they were born healthy. They didn't have it.
They didn't have it.
Oh, wow.
So it's like she's like one out of her sisters and her mother. She's the only one to really get lupus. So this was the shock of it. And when she came home, everyone's, it was a mental process for her. She wanted to, and that was one of the last times I seen her is when she was well enough. It was like a holiday and we all came over there for dinner and she was like on the couch, laying on the couch, and her legs were, she had her thing. So she had a blanket over there covering her legs, but it was a mental process for her.
Yeah.
Because, you're used to having your legs and your limbs and everything. And when you don't have that anymore, you still don't, like, you feel really insecure being around people seeing you like that, so you kind of feeling like people are judging you, when I saw her,
yeah,
I hugged her and I gave her a kiss and told her how much I loved her and everything.
That was very important.
Her sister to come over because she wanted her sister to fix her hair. She was fix my
Okay.
hair. Like she really was feeling insecure about people like seeing her leg, so she wanted to make sure her hair was done, fixed up. She didn't want people to see her in that light.
She was a fighter. She was a fighter, Doe Eyes, and I'm gonna let you guys have it, but I want to ask you, Doe, when did you find out about your lupus, Doe Eyes? Doe, are you there, sweetie?
Yes, I'm here. I found out actually at the age of 22. I was in my final year of college, go University of Maryland, College Park. And as Sino mentioned earlier, I actually started to have strange feelings in my legs at the age of, I want to say, 7 or 8. I'm from the country, Southern Maryland. So we used to run, play in the woods, just doing everything. I ran track, I did gymnastics. I was very, very active, but my mom, and I'm telling my age, but 53, would have.
Muso, do you feel like hitting the link? What the hell? I apologize, y'all. That might have been me.
That's okay. She would give me a heating pad, and I was a child. And she was like, that sounds a lot like arthritis. But again, I'm thinking it's just because I was extremely active and running all the time that's what it was, just arthritis at a young age, because we know that children can get the same things as adults can get, but we don't know. But it wasn't until actually I was 22 before I received a positive diagnosis. I went to a girlfriend's house, was having a baby shower, and I was sitting Indian style. I mean, I do that often. And when I went to visit my mom, we just sat there and talked, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up the next morning, my entire body felt like it was paralyzed. So she and my brother had to scoop me in the car and take me to the doctor. And luckily, his office was a home office not too far from where we live. And at first, he thought it was MS, but it wasn't. And I had to go through a series of blood tests. And what was the definitive diagnosis was a positive ANA test, plus all of the symptoms that I had. And I had heard about it, but I was upset because number one, I knew that they were going to prescribe me with prednisone. And if anyone knows anything about prednisone, that can, for many people, put on a lot of weight gain, but that was the only thing at the time they had available for me. I had to learn how to walk all over again. It was very difficult for me, like I said, to sometimes open up just a door or unscrew a cap off of a water bottle. I went through so much. And then because I was on, they started me with 80 milligrams of prednisone a day. And again, I'm only 5 foot even. I put on over 100 pounds. You already know on social media how cruel people can be, but just imagine younger people and the names that you're called and the shaming and when your appearance changes. So it's not only a physical thing you have to deal with, but it's psychological as well. And you don't really want people to see you like that. And I love actually being around people, but to protect my heart and not having to deal, I mean, you're going to deal with ugliness, but to eliminate a lot of it, I really just stay to myself, and that includes work. So luckily, I don't have to be around too many people for too long because now I'm dealing with the lung issue. So because of all of these other germs and things going around, and people are now really paranoid. You can cough. People used to cough pre-pandemic, but because of the stigma, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable, so I distance myself. And it's just like my friend, he already knows. My cousin knows, but again, I still feel uncomfortable when I go through coughing fits. Even if I'm live, I'll have to put on mute, or I can't really go like I would like to because I don't want to start that up. Sister T, here we go. You have me laughing, but I appreciate that because laughter, I believe, as well as natural remedies, that's what I go to. I do not like medicines. I'm off of many, but I do have to use a nebulizer and the prednisone, and I have a rescue inhaler. And when the Sister T goes off, I have to keep my hand on my inhaler because she has me rolling. But it's very dangerous because there could be a time I may not be able to catch my breath. And another sad part is, and I'll let the others speak, that the first thing a lot of people will say is, well, you don't look sick. And that's the number one thing I hear a lot of people, especially in one of my groups, say that they hear.
Right,
You
though.
don't look sick. You can't
Mhm.
look at someone's organs.
Right,
That's right.
So,
right.
and that's the thing. There's a lot of pride along with that. Nobody wants to be a burden upon anyone.
Yeah.
I've turned down a lot of help because number one, I got it from my mama. And as long as I have my limbs and all of my other faculties, which I do, thank God, and I believe I'm still here for a reason. 2018, I was told I was a lung candidate. And I'm like, Lord have mercy, what else do I need to go through with? I felt like the girl in that movie, Million Dollar Baby. Who was it? Hilary Swank played that. And I'm like, if I have to deal with anyone else, I don't want this. I don't. And some people may say, well, that's selfish. No, because you don't know what I go through. You only see what you may see on social media. You don't know what you see when I'm in the car or totally by myself and things I have to deal with. Your equilibrium can be off. And mine actually is. You wouldn't know it because I have to fight and pray through that daily. So the added stressors from other people and the nasty remarks, I don't need that. And a lot of times people may say, well, why don't you say this back to people? I've learned sometimes people are just that. But if you get me where I'm not feeling well and I've had other issues, I'm going to cuss you out up and down. And you're going to, no, I'm very, Sister T knows that. Queen Regina
Yes,
knows that.
yes, I do know.
So that old me is still there. She's just asleep right now. But I'm trying not to add to unnecessary um, drama. But Sino said something very, very important, and Sister T did as well. Normally, if you pay attention to patterns, and this is how people truly close to me know, if they don't see me post something daily, like a prayer or something, or it's late, they'll know that I'm going through a flare. So I implore you to, not just with lupus, but any type of issue, heart disease, kidney disease, any type of cancers that we may not know about. Thank you, Sister T, very much for your input. I appreciate you and love you, especially. Again, Sister T did something for me that was totally what I call the epitome of selflessness. She heard that I was emotional, hyperventilating, and she stopped what she was doing, which was a personal thing, and just said, breathe with me, breathe with me. So she helped me out of an extremely dark place. So it's things like that didn't cost anything other than a listening ear. So again, watch people's patterns if you know them, and if something doesn't seem right, you should get involved. That's not meaning pry, but just check on them. Make sure, are you okay? You don't seem yourself today, or is there anything that you need? But try to say it in a way where they may not receive it as prying, but they'll receive it as actually caring, because a lot of people think, well, you're doing all of these things that I'm a-okay. I'm pressing myself so I don't have to think about what's ahead of me. So that's my response to that. So I will mute my mic. And again, Sister T, thank you. Carcino, thank you. There might be some questions. So I'm going to put my mic on mute. And the next one, the podium is yours.
Hi, it's Queen Regina. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. And I wanted to just educate
Hello.
just a little bit from a nursing perspective about the disease, lupus, and the body system of the organs that is impacting doe eyes. So you did touch on it a little bit that lupus is a chronic disease that involves your immune system and can damage any part of the body. Your immune system is like a bodyguard against invaders such as viruses, bacteria, and other germs. Normally, a part of your immune system works to fight off these invaders by making antibodies. But in the case of lupus, the immune system can't tell the difference between the invaders and your body's own healthy tissue. It creates auto antibodies that attack and destroy the healthy tissue, causing inflammation throughout various parts of the body. Inflammation can be swelling, increase in mucus pus, So over time, this inflammation may damage the organs of the body. And the organ of the body that is damaged with doe eyes is if we have a pyramid in nursing, and at the top of that pyramid is breath. Without it, no other organ system matters. We got an organ system, the urinary system, the stomach is a system, the brain, even the brain, all these organs need oxygen. So just imagine that all these other organ systems, the blood is an organ system, kidneys, liver, not getting the we call it homeostasis, the balance of oxygen to these organs. They're all affected by lungs. And most people understand the lungs is when you inhale, but the lungs have two important functions. Is to breathe in O2 and to exhale CO2. CO2, carbon dioxide, or CO2. Some of you all, it's the equivalent as parking your car inside your garage and letting the door down. That's how, that's how some people don't make it out of that situation. But with lupus,
that's monoxide there.
Yes.
That's monoxide there.
Mm-hmm. So with doe eyes, her lungs have put her in a car with the garage door down. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is a normal product of metabolism within the body's cells. The blood carries this carbon dioxide waste to the lungs to be exhaled out of the system. When there is an elevated level of CO2 within the blood, complications occur. Doctors refer this medical condition as hypercapnia. And once your CO2 levels rise, before your CO2 level rise if your lungs have been attacked by lupus, I wanted to segue into advance directives. An advance directive is a legal document that explains how you want medical decisions about you to be made if you cannot make the decisions yourself. An advance directive is used to guide your healthcare team and loved ones when they need to make these decisions or to decide who will make decisions for you when you can't. As CO2 rises, the brain, the heart, the blood system, everything starts to deteriorate. So if you know loved ones that have lupus and it's impacting their lungs, make sure that you understand their CO2 levels, because they will probably need to start an advance directive at a certain level, because once it gets too high, they will not be able to, they won't be cognitive enough to make sound decisions. These medical decisions might include special actions or emergency care from your healthcare team. An advance directive can help you think ahead of time about what kind of care you want. And when I became a nurse, I wanted to educate the Black community. You know, the Bible says, get your house in order. We don't take that serious, or we are not educated, at least when I started nursing in 2008, on advanced directives. How I found out about advanced directives was before I became a nurse. I was my father's decision maker when he was transitioning.
Okay.
And I must have been, I know I was in my early or late 20s. And I always tell everybody I'm not the oldest in my family, but I am the eldest. And my father said he did not want to be trached no matter what. He had been trached and he didn't like that feeling. Even when they, put you to sleep, to have something stuck in your throat, your gag is a normal gag reflex. And so when certain medicines wear off, you're going to gag. And so that was my father's advanced directive. No matter what, do not let them put me on a ventilator. And I wasn't a nurse then, but I followed his directions. Then my older sister and younger sister, they showed up at the hospital and tried to bully the nursing staff and the physicians. Like, do this, do that for him. And the doctor says, no, we have to follow your father's decisions while he is still competent. And the next person is who he has identified as his advanced directive to follow out his wishes.
I've seen this.
They couldn't alter his wishes, and I was glad. And they're my sisters, them, oh man, they'll roll over, but that piece of paper. And I've seen that with other families, because when the end is near, people become emotional and they want to hold on for their reasons. So they start to ask the doctor to make all these decisions. And if there's an advanced directive in place, loved ones in their grief cannot usurp an advanced directive. So it's very, very important, at a certain age, or if you're dealing with a degenerative disease, to put those advanced directives in place. And also, one reason why the older generation didn't want to sign advanced directives, they wasn't educated on it. Advanced directives only apply to healthcare decisions and do not affect financial or money matters. I want to read that again, because this is why so many in our community stayed away from advanced directive and suffered through their transition. Advanced directives only apply to healthcare decisions and do not affect financial or money matters. The laws around advanced directives are different from state to state. Talk to your healthcare provider or your lawyer about filling out your advanced directive when you are still healthy, in case you become too ill or are unable to make medical decisions for yourself in the future. And as a nurse, I always wanted to teach that, to my community, doing little health seminars. This is very, very important. It's kind of like a boogeyman in our community, and I want to dispel that fear of the unknown. Doaz, do you have an advance directive?
Absolutely. Mine was put into place in 2018 when I was told I was a lung candidate. And that's a catch 22 because number one, organs for many people of color are hard to come by unless you're a celebrity. And number two, because of the advanced stage of my lung disease, I would not be able to withstand anesthesia. So, if in fact it did get that bad, and thank God it has not, meaning I do not need oxygen. I'm still very active. I'm a lot slower than what I was because of the manifestation of scleroderma and my body rejecting 50,000 IUs of vitamin D, which is odd. So now they're looking into what's going on with that. But as you can hear, I'm very strong right now, at least today, but that takes a lot. I'm vegan. I do a lot of praying and meditating, and I stay active. And I believe that that has helped me a long ways. I still am not out the woods, but I try to think of positivity. But no, my advance directive is absolutely there. It's been there since 2018. And I can be frank and candid. There is a DNR on there. And if I ever, and some people may be offended, and I'm sorry if you are, but this is just me speaking. If I ever have to be given oxygen, um, I'm going to take it out and let whatever happens happens because then I'll feel like everything is gone. I'm 53. I've done more than what I thought I would be able to do. I actually have vegan goods that I've worked on that are at retail. I've done a lot of investigative things. I'm still working on things, but that to me, that says or signals to me that's just about it. And I don't want that for myself. I don't want that to sound selfish, but I've suffered enough. That's just like another piece or grain of salt in the womb. So that's on my advance directive. And I stand by that. It's my choice. So that's the answer to that question.
Okay. And me myself, I don't even have a chronic disease, a degenerative disease, but I verbally have made my wishes to both my son and daughter. All I want to be is blonde on the way out. That's it. I don't want no ventilation, no ventilator, no tube feeding, nothing. I just want that blonde wig on in case I've lost my hair. All I want to do is be blonde. That's what, I want them to carry out on my way out. So I also wanted to kind of educate just a little bit on prednisone. And prednisone is a prescription medicine used to treat many health conditions. It's a corticosteroid, we call them steroid, that works by lessening inflammation. Again, lupus causes an increase in inflammation in the body and suppressing the immune system. Corticosteroids like prednisone mimic the effect of hormones that your body produces naturally. The side effects of prednisone is sleep problems, because you'll be up all night, Doise, even after you don't work during the day. Dry skin, dizziness, nausea,
Yep.
and changes in the shape of body fat. And I can relate to that because my mother was on prednisone, and my mother, she was a beautiful woman, and it was her lungs also. She didn't have lupus. In my family, the females in my family, we have respiratory issues. It can be allergies, asthma. I can't even clean with cleaning products. I have to dilute most of my cleaning products. If I go to a bathroom in a public place, I can't, I try not to even go because of the industrial uh, chemicals that they use to clean the bathrooms. And I got sick, really sick one day and couldn't hardly breathe in a Kroger's bathroom because of chemicals. I can't burn candles. I can't wear perfume. So my mother, and it gets worse as we age. My mother had lung problems, so they put her on prednisone, and she just could not psychologically handle the way she looked. And she was so beautiful, and even though we kept saying, "Mama, you're still beautiful now," and like Dwight said, it's something when you look in the mirror. It's a drug that is saving your life, but it alters the size and of your face shape and whole body, and it makes you depressed, you know. And prednisone come with some serious mood swings. So if you have loved ones on this medication,
I've
uh,
seen that.
yes, yes, and it comes out of nowhere, and they, get hungry, they want to eat. It's just steroid. But yes, so if you have family members or loved ones that are taking this medication, just give them their space because they're gonna unload and unleash. But they will not even remember why they did it. It's a steroid. Okay. Doris, have you had those moments?
She said, I think
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have them often. And I think a couple of people have experienced those mood changes. I don't mean to be nasty about it, but
I
I mean,
mhm.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
right.
But thank you so much, Queen Regina, for
You're welcome.
explaining all of that because I know there are a couple other people have some things they would like to come up and say, and then their lives and broadcast to go to as well. But thank you for giving people a little bit more insight as far as the medical portion of that. Um, QVA absolutely. I do follow Dr. Sebi, and again, that has helped me a lot. But to be prudent and responsible before anyone does decide to take any type of supplements, I would encourage you to consult your physician first. But I incorporate CMOS in just about everything. So the next panel member up, you're welcome, and I will mute my mic. And again, thank you to Queen Regina, Sino, Sister T. You all are welcome to stay around if you'd like. If not, I know you have your lives and broadcasts to update everyone as far as your platforms are concerned, but just the fact that you took time out to engage and explain to people what you have experienced directly and indirectly, I think that is serving the purpose, and that is to raise awareness. So thank you to all, and also those that have come by to listen. I appreciate everyone, and now my mic is being muted, and the podium is yours.
All right.
Hey,
I'm gonna probably step out in a minute, so I'm gonna let everybody else go ahead and say what they need to say. I want to say thank you everyone for allowing me to come on this platform and speak. A lot of people never knew these things about me. Period. That I've actually experienced this, watching it firsthand, and you feel helpless sometimes because you want to be able to be there for them, and it's a paralyzing effect that affects so many lives around it. Even when they're not even here anymore, it's still affecting everybody. So, the awareness and learning, I'm thankful that you guys have put together this platform, because I'm still learning things right now from just listening to you guys, and especially Queen Regina just definitely informed me on some things I never knew anything about.
Right, because they definitely salute to the panel and salute to you, Sino. But yeah, definitely on the outside they look perfectly fine, but on the inside their body is under attack. And I just want to share my anecdotal experience really quick, because my mother and my girlfriend, they both have lupus, and from what I've seen, they can flare up. They can have days where they can't move at all, like how Doe Eyes was sharing that she felt paralyzed in one instance. And I actually found out back in 2007 when I first moved to Wisconsin that my mom had lupus ever since she was 18, because she said she had these these strange pains in her legs too. And once she developed her team of doctors, they started putting her on medications like prednisone. There would be days where like my mom wouldn't even be up for a full day. She would be sleeping through most of her days, and then it started to get better. She had to change her diet. There were certain things where if she inhaled them, like what is it, like vegetable oil, certain greases, they can't really their stomach can't really stomach it, if you will. And ever since 2007 till now, I just really try to keep my mom level-headed. I don't try to stress her out too much, because the slightest things can activate that flare-up. So it's really rare, and it's something that humbles you, because if you don't know, then you can look at a person with lupus like they don't have it, because they look completely fine on the outside.
Thanks. Good evening, Doe Eyes. Thank you for having me up. Salute Sino, salute Queen Regina, Sister T, Ears, Duran.
Salute.
Appreciate y'all. And Doe, I really just came up here to support you mainly, because you're doing exactly right there. Sino kind of took what I was going to say right there at the end. You're doing kind of what is important. You're having a conversation. You're opening it up where we're talking about it. You got people like Sino sharing stories. You got Queen Regina sharing expertise. Sister T was sharing stories, Duran. And this is what we need to do more of, about all things in our community. We don't do enough talking about all of the different things we have going on, be it lupus or so many other things that especially attack our communities. We don't have the conversations about it. We like try to hide things and press them down. I mean, like everybody on here is saying, we see people every day walking around with lupus in everyday life, and we have no clue about it. Because I mean, and people have their own reasons. I understand if you don't want to share whatever's going on with you, I understand that. But just in general, in our community, we need to be having these conversations. We need to be having people like Queen Regina coming up, sharing, the expertise and information from the medical side. If there's lawyers and people who need to be involved with the directives and things like that, we need to have them involved. We need to have people actually sharing their stories. People like Sino, who's telling us about experience growing up around lupus, and at a young age losing somebody really close to them to lupus. We need to be able to share these stories. So I commend you for actually having the panel, having the courage, or whatever you want to call it, to talk about what is going on with you in your everyday life. And then bringing that as a conversation for all of us to come to, for us to share our experiences. Because I found out, what time is it? It's 7:00. I found out 3 hours ago from talking to my wife about this panel that my wife's sister has lupus. I've known that she had, different health things and stuff going on, but I found out 3 hours ago that lupus is a part of, what's the cause of a lot of the health things that she deals with. Hers is attacking her kidneys. So I knew that she had to do blood transfusions and stuff like that, frequently. And they had her on all different kinds of blood treatments and stuff, because her cells are whatever is going on with her cells. And it has a lot to do with the iron and stuff like that. So I knew all of these different health things about her, but I didn't know that it all tied back to lupus. And because of you having this panel, me talking about this panel with my wife, that actually brought that to my attention. So commend you for having these panels, for actually talking about what's going on in your life, and then opening it up for other people to come on here, share, whether it's expertise, whether it's them just sharing a story, because it's therapeutic to get that stuff off your chest sometimes. When you're holding that stuff in, just talking about it to people, whether you look at it as a bunch of people you don't know, so you really can look at the room of people, and you know how they say, imagine everybody in their underwear when you're nervous or whatever. You can treat these people on YouTube like that if you want to use it as your therapy, or you can actually develop relationships with these people and go further into developing them. So I commend you for opening the panel and having a conversation. That's all I got to say.
Awesome. Salute.
Salute to everybody on the panel. I'm the same way. I'm here for support. Salute to you. Sorry about my tardiness. When I got off, a battery went dead, and I turned it back on. I said, "Oh my God, it's 6 o'clock." So excuse me for that. But I'm kind of like the other brothers on the stage, man. I wasn't familiar with a whole bunch of these things. I've only met 2 people personally that I knew had lupus, and it just seemed like the most terrible thing I've ran across when people were giving me the examples of the things that they were going through. For example, the young lady that I recently ran into, I went to high school with her, and she was just giving me the rundown of the complications she was going through. And it was just heartbreaking because I'm like, what can you do? And she's like, nothing. So,
Right.
you know, and it's always hard to hear that. And you're like, hold on, nothing, you know, that's heartbreaking to hear. And what she was facing with the low iron, and she was having, you know, these skin issues or whatever when it flares up, and it just broke my heart to see that kind of stuff. But I am fortunate to get this awareness from people like you, and like Brother Iceberg was saying, you know, these conversations just enlighten you, because you never know what somebody's going through, a battle that you couldn't imagine, you know. So I salute to you for having the strength to, you know, to reach out and to talk about it, and to, you know, just give us awareness of, you know, how to just be more kinder as people, man, because you never know what somebody's going through, a battle that a struggle that you can't even imagine.
Right.
But your strength, though, wise, and I can appreciate this awareness.
Can I expound off, you know, just off what I was saying earlier? I had a personal experience with my mom, and we were actually at my aunt's house in Chicago, and we were having a family get together. And like I said, lupus can make a person look completely fine on the outside, but on the inside, their body is under assault. My mom actually had a seizure at the get together, and that was more of an awareness to my family, who knew about it, but they weren't as hip, as in they don't know that how it can attack certain areas of the body. But me personally, it almost turned me numb, and I'm not gonna lie, because I had to really be there for my mom. I have 3 brothers, but my twin brother, he moved back home. My other 2, they never really got to see the 365 of my mom's condition getting worse. So to get back on the point, what I'm trying to say is, when people don't know what someone else is going through, it's easy for them to like judge them, or, you know, say anything about them, because they don't really know the full gist of everything. And for me personally, I had to humble myself, because I was always thinking like, my mom looks totally fine. But once I've went to the ER multiple times, or to her blood transfusions and stuff like that, that's when everything started getting real for me. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I actually had to be home to supervise my mom. And at this time, now she's more stable. We have a dog who's her her service dog, basically. And it's really any given moment. Today she could feel good. Tomorrow she could feel completely bad or paralyzed or not up to par because of her immune system. So, I mean, it really is tough. But at the same time, I try to just uplift my mom, keep her in good spirits, and do what I can around the house. And whatever she needs, I try to be there immediately. She could come in here and vouch for that. But at the same time, I just try to stay positive, because I do believe that it's mentally and a physical battle for anyone with lupus. So I want to say salute to all of the lupus warriors. To me, you guys are stronger than half the people who don't acknowledge what's really going on within people who have the uncurable diseases, if you will. So big salute to you, Doe Eyes. I actually have to get up out of here. I want to say salute to the panel, and you keep fighting, because I know what you're going through. I know I kind of got long-winded, but I appreciate you, and I always will have your back. So salute.
Thank you.
Man, salute to you, Ron, man. That's just salute, bro.
Yeah, and the thing is that we what we don't realize is that there's people that we know in our own walk of life. They probably are battling lupus right now, and they just haven't told you. They just, some people, it's very personal to them, and they don't like to reveal what they're going through. They just don't want to put anybody through it. And they know that people mean well sometimes, but sometimes they just don't like the attention of everyone treating them as if they're disabled, or just the look. They don't like people to look at them as
Right.
they're ill. And, and experiencing that firsthand, having a girlfriend go through what she was going through with sickle cells that turning into leukemia, and she just don't want to be looked at as different, even by me, especially by me, so she didn't want to be looked at as a patient, even though she was ill, and it was a struggle, a real struggle there. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody's going through something or have been through something, and this has been a very impactful live stream, and I stayed on to hear as many stories as I could, to keep learning information, and that's why I'm so aware. It's so great to have everybody here, because a lot of us won't be able to go to probably DC for the walk of lupus, but there's definitely a lot of people who are donating, and there's a link that Doe Eyes put in the chat where you could donate if you want to. And I will be making a donation when I get back, but I have to get ready to leave now. But I want to say thank you to everybody that had me on the panel. I stayed longer than I'm supposed to, but that's just how impactful it is. I was drawn in. I can't move.
Thank you, Sino.
Thank
you.
Salute, Sino.
Together, and I love all y'all, man. Be blessed. More blessings to your families, and take care. Appreciate y'all.
Hey, Doe Eyes, if I could pick up real quick on where Sino was talking about, and I 100% understand and agree with what he's saying, that a lot of people who are dealing with whatever it is, whether they're dealing with lupus or something else, a lot of times don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be looked at as a patient or different or anything like that. And I totally understand that, because our uneducated society would automatically start looking at the person like a leper or something like that. But my question is, if we actually make these conversations normal and actually talk about this stuff and educate everybody, say like, all right, say if this was in grade school books, elementary school, they're learning about lupus and all of these different things. So it was just common knowledge and regular. Would it be, I mean, there still will always be people who, they feel the way they feel about what they're dealing with. So they're emotionally going to maybe keep it in or whatever. But would it be as, I guess, stigmatized for some people if we were more educated about what lupus is? I mean, you had a few of us get up on this panel and say that we really have no clue what lupus is. I heard the term before, and I knew, I'll say I didn't know. I thought it was something that impacted women, but I was uneducated. You started talking about Nick Cannon and other people, then I'm like, all right, so this don't just affect women. So that shows my ignorance on the subject. But if this was something that was more commonly known and talked about, would there be as much stigma on the person who's actually dealing with it to talk about it with other people? Is there anything to that, or is that kind of a lost cause in our society?
Now, I definitely agree. I never heard. It was 30 years old until I ever ran into somebody that that had lupus, and I had to get totally educated from like a kindergartner. So and like I said, I've known like he was saying, a lot of people probably doesn't like to speak on it because they don't want to feel like that. And the girl that I did run across that had it, she was like that. Because she seemed perfectly normal, and then when she told me, I was like, okay. When she said lupus, I didn't think of it like I think of it now. I was thinking of it like saying I got, I don't know, I can't match nothing with it, because now I'd have found out there's nothing that's equal to it. But at the time when she told me, I was like, okay, what does it do? Because you seem fine, you know what I mean? But I had to get educated over knowing her over months and seeing her ups and downs and, things of that nature. And when the day that I seen where she couldn't move and, and she was going what she was going through, I was like, oh my God, this is really, really serious. And when she had a flare up, I was like, wow, this is really, really, really serious. And, from on, I just started, being more, trying to educate myself more on it. And just to hear Noah speak on it more now, the stuff that I just learned, and I was late to this party. It's mind blowing, so like you were saying, man, more of these conversations, more of educating kids in school, because I never heard of this growing up, as a kid. And I'm kind of embarrassed to be, here as a 38-year-old man and just learning about something so serious, so salute to you, Doug. We need more people like you to educate us, and even in schools. I agree with you. This would be a great thing just to teach people about how to care for their loved ones and just be aware about things.
I mean, it seems like we're not learning how to do. I mean, I'm not going to derail the conversation. I'm sorry, though. I'm just thinking we're not learning how to take care of ourselves in school. We're learning all the other stuff, but they could very easily teach us all of the things that we're actually dealing with right now in our society. And I mean, I understand with lupus, there's nothing specifically that we may be able to do about that in terms of, like eating differently or something like that. But they're not necessarily teaching us the things that we can do to actually take care of ourselves. They're just teaching us this is what a sick person looks like. Go see the doctor, go get the medicine, all of that stuff. That's what's getting pumped on us. So, like you were saying, a lot of people with lupus, they don't outwardly look like anything's wrong with them. They're walking through life just like all the rest of us, but all of the stuff that they're dealing with behind the scenes, none of us know about. So, we just gotta educate ourselves. That's what it just all goes back to for me, is educating ourselves and starting at the youth. Don't put in the books that a sick person looks like somebody with, splotches on their face or, a Band-Aid or whatever. Sick people look like all different forms, or people, I'm not even gonna say sick people, but people dealing with things that are, going on within their body. They come in all shapes and forms and they look like everybody else.
I agree with that. I also wanted to say that I will keep your family member, Iceberg, in my thoughts. And this is the thing. It has been said that every 30 to 60 seconds, someone new is diagnosed with lupus. But because lupus is an autoimmune disease, it mirrors so many different things. So you have to go through many different tests and batteries to make sure that the level that is considered to be, I believe, the first 5, a positive diagnosis. That's what you have to go through, because again, it mirrors MS. Some of the symptoms may even mirror ALS, which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease or syndrome. So there are a lot of things. There are many in the entertainment industry, as I mentioned, Nick Cannon, Tony Braxton, who's from the DMV, Selena Gomez, who actually had a kidney transplant. But you have to remember, these people are celebrities. The singer Seal, he has it. However, it's discoid lupus, which is on the skin. So when you see that scar and someone actually made a statement and they didn't know, and this is why it's very important, if you see someone with some type of disfigurement, you should probably try, and it's difficult for many people, but you should probably try to hold your tongue because you may not know where that scar is coming from or what it is. But he actually has discoid lupus, and that's why his skin is the way that it is. And I'm sure growing up, he probably had been teased. Some people make comments now, as I just mentioned, but it's because I'm not going to say ignorant because ignorant isn't a bad word. It's just that you don't know, but that person didn't know. So I had to let them know in a nice way. Well, he has lupus, so it's a lot of things. And yes, there is shaming when I have to take a large dose of prednisone if I'm going through a flare where it's more difficult to breathe. I'll get what you call a quote unquote moon face so people will know. I mean, I'm used to it now, but it does not negate from some cruel people that don't know to say something that can be cruel. And that's the same thing with any type of cancers, diabetes, and we know in our community that diet is very, very important, especially taking care of your immune system, which is in the gut. And no, I am not a physician or doctor, but I do know that a lot of these processed foods and sugars, as we grow older, and some people even younger, we have got to learn how to get away from that. Iceberg Thoughts, if you have not had a chance to go to this platform, I would implore you to please go visit what he's doing. Sister T with her garden to learn how to, number one, feed your families because we don't know what follows ahead of us as far as the world is concerned. Many things that we buy, even if it says organic in a lot of the markets, they still have pesticides, and there are a lot of things that can damage your system over a long period of time. And if something doesn't feel right, like if you have indigestion and you'll say, oh, it's probably just something I ate, it could be, but at the same time, if you are teleworking or driving for long periods of time, your blood can pool to your ankles, and that can break off into a clot and take it all the way up to your lungs where you can get a PE or a pulmonary embolism. So what you may think is indigestion, that may be telling you you need to get to the ER because pulmonary embolisms can either take you out of here or have you be on blood thinners for the rest of your life. So if something doesn't feel right, to me, and this is just my opinion, it's better to be safe than sorry because I had a friend of mine who had a boil, and this is a true story, a regular boil, but because of his pride, and I'm not getting on you men, but some of you men don't even want to have that particular test where your backside may feel invaded. We're adults here, but my brother was like that. And I'm like, look, you're 50 now. You need to have this done. But he refused to go to the doctor. So his wife, because he and I were best friends, were, yes, is in past tense. He refused to go. When it got to the point where he couldn't bear it anymore, it was too late. Excuse me for one moment. It ended up turning into gangrene. So when I went to visit him, I didn't know that he had been airlifted to the University of Maryland in Baltimore. So when I called to check on him, they said, well, if you're not a family member, we can't give any information. But I'm like, dang, I was a maid of honor in his wedding. So his wife called me maybe 15 minutes later and asked how I was doing. And I'm like, I'm fine. I said, how is Big Jim doing? She was like, are you sitting down? Hold on for one more second. And I said, yes, is he home yet? And she told me, no, he passed away. So something as simple as a boil that he refused to get treated at first because of pride and hating the doctor. No one loves the doctor, but he was, I want to say, 27 or 28. So listen to your bodies.
You're 100% right there. I haven't gotten to the that special exam that you're talking about yet. I haven't reached that age yet, but I do go get my physicals every year because I'm dealing with something myself. So you have to take care of your bodies. You got to drink that water. Your body is made up of, a certain percentage of water. It's mainly water. So you got to drink that water, replenish your cells, get you some good pH water if you can. But you got to take care of your body. Though, I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring it back for a second. I'm really ignorant on the subject of lupus, and you talked about the specific kind that you said Seal has. I think you said discoid. So you're saying there's different types of. I mean, I know it attacks in different ways, but there's different types of lupus as well. So
Absolutely.
So when we see, that one, I guess, attack his skin on his face, so does it stop or does it move and attack other parts of his skin, or is it still attacking that same part and we just can't tell, or is it the celebrity thing happening here? Or,
It could. I mean, unless a person actually decides to speak on it, we don't really know. We really don't know. Just like a lot of people didn't know about Selena Gomez having her kidney transplant, and that was a blessing that, number one, her friend was able to do that. Number two, that it did not reject. And we all know that with a lot of transplants, a lot of times those organs can reject. So that's a blessing. But again, these are celebrities. For lay people or people, regular people like me, that may not always be an option. But again, to me, and the young lady mentioned earlier about Dr. Sebi, some people believe in that, others don't. But to me, in my experience, clean eating has helped me. That's not to say you can't hunt, you can't fish to feed your families. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying beware of some of the pesticides and chemicals that are used. I know a lot of people from where I grew up that had goats and chickens and pigs, and that is how they fed their families. As a matter of fact, my first boyfriend, his mother, bless her heart, she just passed 2 years ago at the age of 94. And that's another thing. A lot of us are living a lot longer. And I hate to say this, but it's the truth. There are people in other cultures, especially the Asian culture, that are 60 or 70. They look like they're damn near 40 or 50 because of how they eat. But the caveat is, look at what some of them sell to us. It's not exactly what they eat. And so keep that in mind. You have to watch what you place, not only in your bodies, but in your minds as well. Eating and your diet and exercise. A lot of people say, well, I don't have a gym membership. There are things you can do through your home. Um, I have two, well, they're not large, but I can go upstairs. I can go downstairs. If I'm in the mood, I'll run up the steps. I can go out back and walk around. I can walk around the neighborhood. There are things in here I can do. You can certainly, at one point in time, invest in small level weights. I see so many people um, that will flex and put up their bling, but they won't invest in small purchases like weights or things. I forgot the name of the piece of equipment, but where you can actually put the little, whatever you call it, in your hand and just squeeze it to strengthen your wrist. Because as you grow older, your bone density actually decreases. And that's why when people fall or trip, they can get either a broken bone or a fracture. And we've heard too many unfortunate stories where older people have actually fallen, broken their hip, and 2 days later they've transitioned on. So we have to again be very cognizant of what it is that we eat, what it is that we drink. Again, there are a lot of people who smoke and drink. Again, this is not no judgment to any of them, because when I was younger, one of the things I used to do, and again, I had to pray and ask for a lot of those tastes to be taken out of me so I could get stronger and healthier. My thing would be to get a little glass of Bailey's Irish cream and sit up at the casinos every Friday. But that was due to depression, dealing with my home life, which was crappy at the time, and then thinking about all of the stuff I was dealing with lupus that I kept to myself. That led to a path of destruction. I'm not saying you can't go out and enjoy yourself, but do it in moderation. And if it is a issue with your health, then that's something I think people should really pay a little bit more attention to. I spoke on this before. My cousin, my Uncle Joe, beautiful man, long silver hair. He would not stop drinking even after a triple bypass. And he would say, well, you've got to pick your poison. People say that, and sometimes I think a lot of times people may be facetious about it, but the thing is, when you're in that hospital bed and you look like you weigh 60 or 70 pounds because you've become so emaciated, pick your poison. That's exactly what you've done. And not only that, you're not only hurting yourselves, but you're hurting your loved ones. So I'll never forget the look on my mother's face, and she rarely cried. But when we left seeing my Uncle Joe, I will never forget her putting her hand up over her mouth. And a lot of women do that to try to hold back their tears, but I actually saw it, and I'll never forget that image. And I think he passed away probably a day or so later, but it was from cirrhosis of the liver. So again, we all have our vices. I have mine. It's chocolate, but I do it in moderation because I know I can't afford to gain um, a whole lot of weight. It took me a long time to get off the weight that I did. I have flabs. That's abs showing through some flab, but that took a lot of work, and it took a lot of pressure off my heart and lungs. And at 53, that's very important. And no, I don't have grandkids, but if I did or wanted to play with them, some people can't do that because they've let things go for so long. So again, get up and move, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. You can walk around wherever you may live. You can move furniture as long as you're keeping your joints moving, your body moving. A lot of times I'll do trivia, and it's not just movies and music and things like that, but I actually incorporate spelling bees and geography. I did that the other night. Books, because you have to make sure that not only you keep your body healthy, but your mind healthy as well. My mother used to do crossword puzzles all the time. The brain is physical, so you got to keep that healthy as well. The mind, however, is mental, so you have to learn how, and this is difficult, but it can be done, to program that into positivity despite those who may be negative. And yes, you have ugly people out there who will say
Wise,
things ugly,
I'm in
but
the
yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Kwame wanted you to drop the link. He said he can't chat for some reason. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no problem. Hold on. Hopefully it's still
Interrupt
there
you there.
because you know I'm in the woods.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. I know you was in a good segment.
No, no. But I was just speaking about health and what I see. No, no, no. You're good. Ears warm here. So small things that people can do to get their health together while you're still young and able. Because when you get older, I'm telling you, some people will see me out there playing football. That's actually me. But then there are times when I don't feel well. I wake up in the morning and I swear both knees feel like Fred Sanford or Snap, Crackle, and Pop. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do this. So it's important. I mean, a lot of people are still working from home. I telework, but if you're in a sedentary position for a very long period of time, or if you're driving for a long period of time, or if you're on a plane or a train, you need to get up and walk at least um, every hour or so, because you can, like I said, have it where blood goes down to your ankles and you can get clots that will actually travel all the way up to your lungs, which is again a PE or pulmonary embolism, where you can either pass away or you'll be put on blood thinners for the rest of your life. And again, I'm grateful and thankful that I made it to 53, being diagnosed at 22. But yeah, you have to be
Salute.
careful. We have another guest. Welcome.
How y'all doing? Salute to everybody on the panel.
Salute, baby.
I can't chat. I thought I subscribed to you before, but I guess it unsubscribed. I don't know. But
That
I
happened
can't
with
chat for
Sister
24
T.
hours. How y'all doing? I missed most of the discussion.
We're doing fine. Let me put my mic on mute for you.
What's up, brother? What's up, ears? I missed most of the discussion. What are we talking about?
It's mostly lupus awareness. I was a little late myself. And everybody was just giving their experience of the awareness of lupus. And right now she was just going over some of the healthy things. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll let her explain that. I muted my mic though, Oz. I'm sorry. You maybe wanted to fill him in.
No, basically, I was just speaking about, well, this latter part was about health things that you can incorporate in your life.
Oh yeah, and
Oh,
I
no
encourage
problem.
people.
Again, thank you, Kwame and panel. Welcome, Kwame. Thank you, Ear, Sister T, Berg, and Zeno.
My sound went out. Can anybody hear?
Yeah, my sounds. I thought it was just my phone.
Yeah, I
Go
thought it was
ahead,
my phone.
Kwame.
I
I'm
didn't know to say
listening.
something or not.
Okay, I didn't know if it was breaking up or not.
Yeah, I think her mic is breaking up, but I want to encourage people to get some sea moss. I mean, I ran out of sea moss. I used to drink a sea moss smoothie every morning. But I think sea moss have, if you can find the real natural sea moss, I know so many other people are selling so many different powder forms and everything else, so you don't really know what you're getting. But if you can find some real natural organic sea moss, I think it has a definite benefit if you can mix it in with some smoothies and some protein. I need to get back on it because when I was on it, to me, I just had more energy and, I was more, my eyes were just more open, you know what I mean, in the daytime instead of just being lethargic. So I think everybody need to get some of that sea moss.
I definitely agree. And I think she was.
Absolutely. And
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was saying CMOS has actually helped me tremendously because of the vitamins and nutrients, and because it helps to break up the mucus, which is in your immune system, which again is in the gut. And those that know me, I do smoothies every day. I actually use it in my baking as well. I'll use it for golden milk. I even use it for a face mask because it will help rid of impurities and free radicals. But again, that's just my that's just my thing. Again, before you take any supplements, to be prudent and responsible, check with your physician first. However, I've been using this for so very long, it has helped me a great deal. And Kwame, basically, what I was speaking on earlier was just about raising awareness and how this disease a lot of people don't know about. And there are people that came up to share, such as Sister T, how it's affected them directly. Sino gave an awesome testimony that many people didn't know. I'm so sorry that you missed that, but if you get a chance, you can listen to that portion, and I'll put the timestamps in that. But if you, I think you mentioned once before that you have taken care of someone with that. So if you wouldn't mind, if you'd like to briefly, because I know you've got your lives and broadcasts to go on. And again, thank you so much for jumping on really quick. If you'd like to educate the panel about how this has affected you directly as being a caretaker, because I believe you had to do that for a short period of time. And I will respectfully put my mic on mute. So you can do that if you don't mind. If you can't, then let me know. But if you can, I'll go ahead and mute the mic.
Oh yeah, lupus is a disease that I think everyone had to deal with a family member or someone that they know. So my personal story is my niece, her mother died of lupus while she was still in high school. And she went from perfectly fine and nobody knew what was wrong with her. Well, nobody knew anything was wrong with her. And then next thing you know, she went to the hospital. She was diagnosed with lupus, and then within a couple of months, she had lost a lot of weight. And this is back in the 90s or early 2000s. And so it wasn't as advanced in what they would do to treat people. So um, she deteriorated fast. She started losing hair. She lost a bunch of weight. She was always sick. Anytime she got ill, whether it be the regular common cold, it just seemed like it took her body through so much more than the normal person. So Eventually, she passed away later on that year. So she had a daughter that was left to fend for herself. She was trying to put herself through high school. She was trying to be strong and didn't want any help because, she was at the age, she was 17 years old. So you kind of couldn't tell a 17-year-old what to do. But then the state was going to step in and force her to go into a home or with a family member. So I stepped up and I let her stay with me for her senior year. And then, she definitely had a rough time because it was just so quick. It went from, and I didn't know anything about lupus prior to that happening. And I think a lot of people don't know anything about it until it hits home. And then that's when people start studying. But I don't know if it's hereditary. So somebody else, I don't want to speak out of turn on that one. But she seemed fine. And then next thing you know, she was gone.
Absolutely, and that's what happens. People don't realize that after diagnosis, we don't know how long this has been in our systems, and by the time certain treatments, and again, there is no cure, and a lot of things is unfortunately what we call as band-aids to just cover it and fix for right now, but we don't know the damage it's already caused. And a lot of people are like, well, we just found out about it. Well, unfortunately, a lot of people just find out about it, but it may have been dormant in our systems for a lot longer, but we don't know that until we actually have all of the tests done. And by then, unfortunately, as you just mentioned, and my condolences to you, it's too late then.
Yeah, it was definitely too late. And then it was just, everybody was just shocked how fast she went from, it just seemed like yesterday she was partying and living it up and working and planning vacations and planning out her future. And then just short, weeks and months later, she's 60 pounds lighter. She got the common cold and she was so sick. And, everybody thought she was going to pull through after she came out of the hospital. So it was just weird how fast it happened. So if someone out there has a family member with lupus, you have to take advantage of every single day because, like Doa said, you just never know.
Absolutely. And I thank you, Kwame, for sharing that because, again, lupus, and I will say this again, and I hope everyone, and this is to those who have been very evil and cruel. Again, the Creator, in my opinion, renders last judgment, but lupus does not discriminate. Okay? It does not matter whether you are a celebrity, whether you are a judge, doctor, a regular person. It does not matter the zip code. It doesn't matter your demographic. It does not discriminate. At one time, the majority of people affected were women of color in their childbearing ages, meaning between 20 to normally early 30s, but now you can get it at any time. There are women in the military that are coming back that are being diagnosed with lupus. Men, as I mentioned earlier, Nick Cannon has it. Snoop Dogg's daughter has it. Tony Braxton, who's from the DMV, has that. Lady Gaga's family member has it. So there are many, many people out here. Selena Gomez as well, and then I mentioned earlier, had a kidney transplant due to that. There are many, many people with this. So again, it's very important that if you have any of the symptoms, and I've put it up and I'll place those up again and I'll put it in my description, please do not hesitate to go to the physician to have these done because it's an autoimmune disease, which basically, I'll just break it down like a fraction. Your good cells cannot differentiate from the bad cells, so they attack one another. almost like, but not sickle cell. But again, everyone that knows TLC, T-balls or Tion, she has been battling sickle cell for a long time, and it affected her brain at one point. But she is still, you know, again, favor, mercy, and grace. Is she still here? But she's been through a lot. And if you've listened to her story, the pain that she had gone through after concerts. So my hat goes off for her. We as a community have to be cognizant of all of these diseases. And I'm not going to say a whole lot because I don't want to get clapped, but truth is truth. And Kwame, you mentioned something earlier, and I'm going to speak on it later, but it's true. Money, money, when it comes to the church, it's almost evil and demonic in a way, because my pastor, and when you said this almost fell out, has incorporated politics since the last election. Now, keep in mind, he is a Howard HU, you know. Yeah, do you really know really what goes on? He was a Democrat. However, after the election, there was a commercial with him sitting right beside a Republican. Come to find out, with my little digging in, the new church going through a pandemic, which was able to raise $60 million, $60 million during a pandemic. They were leased from a particular government agency, which I will not say because I'll really get in trouble. I'm already in trouble enough, but it is what it is. You have to get the truth out there. That's how that was able to be acquired, because there's no way you can sit there and say someone can raise $60 million, but that location was actually used as a mass, and I'll use this word, but this panel is full of critical thinkers, so you'll know where I'm going. That place was used as a mass medication place. So of course, you know, there were incentives there for that. And again, we also have something that Chris Rock said several years ago, that if there were cures for these, then there wouldn't be a need for certain people. And again, I don't need to say what I'm saying. You all can figure it out. So if you take that equation out, you will lose billions of dollars. So if you have a lot of sick people, you stay in business. So I said what I needed to say without actually saying it. And again, my chat is always filled with critical thinkers, so you know where I'm going with that. Thank you, Eugenia. So if anyone else has anything to say or any quick questions for anyone, now would be the time, because it is 8:04 and everyone I know is waiting for a certain individual's panel to come up. And I also like to listen as well. You have a couple of moments and I will let everybody go, because I did not expect for this to be that long. But this is not a scam for that individual who is a very sick individual, in my opinion. You can go to my link, and the minute you click on it, you'll see the picture that I put up. It'll go right to my page. Actually, I would prefer those who want to donate, even if it's $1. You go there. You will get something from the Lupus Foundation of America. You will not get anything from me other than my thanking you, because I will get a notification that a donation has been made. Those that have actually sent me cash apps, I've sent those directly to the Lupus Foundation, and you'll see your names there. So for those that have heard that I'm scamming people out of money, that is absolutely untrue. I really should not have to explain that if you actually know who I am or what it is that I do, but because of the hatred of one person, anybody that supports that one person, you're going to get dragged through the mud and slandered and everything else. So as long as you all know that, I appreciate it. But ears, thank you so much for giving me a voice. Kwame, thank you so much for showing up and sharing your personal testimony as what you saw for yourself. Iceberg, Sister T, Queen Regina, Sino, again, Sino,
Deron
I'm
B.
not taking away anything. And Deron B, again, I didn't know about your family members, and you've donated several times. Iceberg Thoughts, I'm gonna get you for that. You've donated, and I tried to give it back to you, and you went and donated behind my back. But again, thank you all who have taken time out to listen to this. And again, you've got to learn how to take care of one another. We only have one of these. When I'm talking about our lives, meaning our personal lives, breathing, living on this side. So take care of it while you can. So panel, chat, everyone, thank you so much again. Just the time.
Can I ask
Yes.
you a question?
Who is
Because I made a donation, but I think I ended up starting a new team. I think I got confused when I went in there. Does that still go to yours, or does that? How does that work?
If it did not go to my team, it would have gone directly to the Lupus Foundation. And again, there
Good.
are
Sorry about
I'm sorry.
that. That was a good question because I was a little bit confused too.
Yes.
Oh man,
It's that Brunswick air down there. I apologize.
If you click on the link in my description, you should see, matter of fact, let me do this really quick. I promise you'll be really, really, really fast. If you click on my link, this is what you should see. And it will tell you you can donate or join my team. If it does not go there, it will still go to the Lupus Foundation, and you're still helping those who are still fighting, and unfortunately, those that have lost their fight. And my walk in DC is October the 1st, and it's not just for me, but it's to pay homage to those who have lost their lives in reference to this disease. So hopefully that answered your question. The internet is funny. Sometimes that link will take you directly to my page. Sometimes it'll take you right to the Lupus Foundation, but it really doesn't matter. As long as you're donating, if that's something that you want to do, it'll go there. You can also support by just registering or joining my team. That's free. You can register as a virtual walker. That's free. You can just share this post. That's free. So those are the options you have if you want to donate. And guests, I am not asking, and I made that clear, I do not want you to donate. You've donated your time and you've raised awareness, so you're done. I don't want any donations from you all. I appreciate it, but time is what I requested. You did that graciously, and I thank you for it. But for other people that may want to, even if it's $1, because trust me, all of that adds up. You can use that link. And if you're in the DC area, October the 1st, at the National Mall by the monument, put your shoes on and let's walk.
Deron's want you to say your team name.
Oh, Team Lease. Team Lease. It's right there. Like I said, if you click on the link, Team Lease 2022. I'll put that back up there again. Let me take Deron off. Not Deron off, but it may not show. But yeah, if you just click on the link, you'll see the team name. And if you go to the Lupus Foundation and the DC Walk, it'll say search for teams. You can put in team and then L as in Larry, E as in Edward, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, E as in Edward, and the same thing will pop up. No, not lease like in lease for an apartment or a car, but L-E-E-S-E. L as in Larry, E as in Edward, E as in Edward, S as in Sam, E as in Edward. Team lease, and it will pop up. But again, the link that's in the description, absolutely iceberg thoughts. And if you are on the YouTube page, if you click that in my description, that directly will take you there. So that shouldn't be any confusion there. Hopefully it shouldn't be. But if you have any questions, most people know how to reach out to me. But again, thank you to everyone on the panel. I know that you have your lives coming up for your broadcast. And again, just taking the time out to, number one, help raise awareness and share your personal stories to let people know that this is very serious. There's a disparity in this particular disease because many people, as of today, 2022, still haven't heard of it. That's why we're not getting the PSAs or the advertisements on TV, or depending upon what city you're in, you don't see a lot of these on the metro buses because people do not know about it. So as an advocate, which I've been for years, I've been trying to do this for the longest time to get an actual PSA on not only cable channels, but on national networks. That has been extremely difficult, but it'll be done in his time, not on my time, but on his time. So hopefully this has been informative to everyone about this disease. And again, it mirrors many others. And if your body doesn't feel right, you have certain aches or pains, check with your physician. Don't wait too long. Early detection can really make a difference. That's the only advice I can give right now. But again, it is now 8:13. Thank you to everyone. Blessings to all. Be safe, be well, be healthier. Again, Ears, Kwame, Deron B, Iceberg Thoughts, Queen Regina, Sister T, and Sino. Again, everybody contributed, but I really want you all, if you get a moment, to please listen to Zeno's testimony and what he's gone through, because I didn't even know he had gone through that with those that had lupus and how he felt numb. And you do feel helpless when you're watching someone and there's nothing really you can do. So again, Zeno, salute to you, taking time out of your busy day, all of you actually, to join me on this very important panel. So blessings to everyone from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so very much. And if no one has anything else, I'm going to go ahead and end this. And again, blessings to all.
Blessings to you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and thank you for coming by, Kwame.
Yeah. Salute Ears. Salute everybody on the panel. I'm gone.
Salute, KB. Salute Ears. Have a good evening, Ms. Doaz.
Thank you. You too. Thank you to everyone.